Jerk. Why'd you shoot those 4 kids 50 years ago?
That wasn't even me, so try again.
It was National Guard, and you were clearly in the National Guard.
I wasn't even born in 1970, so you should check up on your history.
Okay, you have a solid alibi. For now. I'm watching you, though.
And make sure you know what you're talking about before you accuse someone. Read 13 seconds, and this we know.
Okay.
I guess I'll read them.
Finished. Nearly 50 years ago, on May 4th, 1970, the lives of Sandra Schuer, Bill Schroeder, Jeffrey Miller, and Allison Krauss were tragically cut short. Here, the lives of those 4 students, the short 13 seconds, impacted American life as we know it. It helped the ratification of the 26th Amendment. It helped defund the Vietnam War. And it also spurred the largest national student strike in U.S. history. While all of those are good outcomes, we must understand how the Kent State shootings play an important role in these outcomes.
Goo.
We take this action not for the purpose of expanding the war into Cambodia, but for the purpose of ending the war in Vietnam and winning the just peace we all deserve. We have made and we will continue to make every possible effort to end this war through negotiation at the conference table rather than through more fighting on the battlefield.
That announcement caused students throughout the country to protest at more than 130 colleges and universities, including Kent State University. These strikes caused early curfews, police enforcement, and for at least one campus in particular, the help of the Ohio National Guard. These students were properly executing the rights they were awarded in the First Amendment: freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. Yet, they were met with tear gas and eventually, on May 4th, 1970, gunshots. This tragic situation angered students across the country, causing the largest national strike in U.S. history. The Urban Research Team even concluded in its 1970 report on strike, Shut It Down, that in spite of Cambodia, without the Kent State deaths, there would have been no national student strike. The Carnegie Commission on Higher Education also corroborated in 1971 that with the Kent State shootings, a powerful emotional response added a new fuel in great numbers to the growing turmoil. The Kent State shootings had a huge impact on young Americans. The deaths of 4 Kent students and 13 short seconds significantly impacted campus operations on 57% of nationwide colleges and universities. The Vietnam War was the first war to be aired on television, and Americans weren't exactly enthusiastic over that consistent death toll. Barbado, Davis, and Seaman wrote in This We Know, May 4th, 1970 would be written in history through the decades to follow as the day that war came home. The authors continue to write, and war sentiment in Congress translated into action. Senator George McGovern argued for the amendment to end the war's passage by reminding the senators how deeply the deaths at Kent State had entered the hearts and minds of Americans. McGovern's address generated substantial support, but not passage of the amendment to end this war. Congress, however, did begin immediately with the withdrawal of funding for the war. Although the war had not ended, Congress took further action to push through legislation and lower the voting age to 18. There were many significant outcomes from those short 13 seconds on May 4th, 1970 that impacted student lives nationwide. Joe Esteraz and Michael D. Roberts write in their book 13 Seconds, university alumni donations doubled in 1970 from the previous year. It only takes 13 seconds to send a text, run 100 meters, buy something online. Those don't have very big impacts. But the 13 deadly seconds on the Kent campus between the students and the National Guard, increased donations on the campus, cut funding altogether for the Vietnam War, supported the ratification of the 26th Amendment, and spurred the largest national student strike in U.S. history. Not many texts can do that. But after learning all of that, I do owe an apology. Hey, I'm sorry. I really should have read those books before I accused you. That was a very tragic event. But it did impact a lot of American life. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that.
It says they're millions of years old.
The Earth is only 6,000 years old.